Obesity is fast becoming one of the largest burdens on our economy. Approximately 1 in 3 adults and 2 out of 6 children are obese. Obesity is becoming an epidemic in the region and a major cause of death, attributable to heart disease, cancer, and diabetes.
At a recent consultation organized by the World Health Organization, obesity was recently considered a chronic disease which has long-term implications on a person's health. A person becomes obese when their body mass index is greater than or equal to 30. Body mass index is a simple index or weight for height that is commonly used to classify overweight and obesity in adults.
It is an energy imbalance between calories consumed and calories expended. This just simply means that there is an increased intake in calorie-dense, sugary, fatty foods, whether it be portions, in frequency, and a decrease in physical activities. So there is nothing to balance this out. However, there are multiple factors that are involved. Your genetic makeup, your socioeconomic conditions, they have strong influence, making it such a complex process that plays out at an individual, family, community, and population level. By definition, childhood overweight and obesity can occur when a child is well above the normal weight for his or her age and height.
The foods that we are selecting now, we tend to eat much more protein than we did in the past. We tend to eat much more sugary food than we did in the past, more salty food than we did historically as our African ancestors did, and also more fatty food than we did in the past. We're frying a lot more than we used to do based on the way we were historically and in our ancestors, the way our ancestors lived. Therefore, our dietary habits have changed. Our physical activity practices have changed, and we've ended up this way. Now we have to take the effort and the opportunity to relearn how to eat properly, relearn how to maintain physical activity. And physical activity is no longer part of the daily routine, but we have to set aside time for physical activity.
It is often said that obesity is the interaction between genetics and the environment. But having said that, our genetic pool hasn't changed in the past 30 years. However, our environment has changed drastically. We all weigh 25 pounds more today than the generation 25 years ago, which is a direct result of the fact that we are eating a lot more today than we were 25 years ago. Not only are we eating more, but we're consuming more sugar.
It is a serious health challenge that has emerged as an epidemic in the 21st century. Obese children are likely to stay obese into adulthood and are more likely to develop chronic non-communicable diseases such as type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular diseases such as heart problems, hypertension, stroke at a much younger age. They're also at risk for developing joint deformities, bone deformities, certain types of cancers like cancers of the uterus, of the breast, and colon. They can also develop breathing problems during sleep, also known as sleep apnea. Depression and self-esteem issues related to overweight and obesity is becoming increasingly common as well. Therefore, prevention, intervention, and treatment should be given high priority in primary care.
More and more children are becoming obese, therefore we're going to end up with more adults that are obese. So we know from studies that have been done that there's a significant amount of obesity in adulthood. And now, just as Dr. Walter said, there is now more obesity in childhood. We're going to end up with more adults that are obese. Why is this happening? What has been happening with us culturally and historically why we're now in this situation? And by the way, Antigua is no different to many parts of the world, but we still have to take care of our own. Historically, we were people that worked hard for a living, where we had to obtain our food through the ground. And I always say you have to chase the food, dig the food out, climb up a tree and get the food. In other words, physical activity was a routine part of our daily existence and our very being. And obtaining food and processing food was a very physical process. Therefore, we had that balance of calories along calorie intake, along with calorie expenditure, and we worked off our weight. We also maintained good physical health because of our physical activity. Now that we've become far more modernized, more urbanized, and fewer of us are being farmers, and more of us are obtaining our food through supermarkets, less healthy food has become available to us. It's greatly beneficial for all adults to see a dietitian at one point or another in their lives, especially as we go past the age of 20 into our 30s, especially if we're overweight. Another thing is culturally, a lot of us don't even recognize that we're overweight. There's a cultural acceptance of being plump. Historically, in the 1950s and in earlier times when we were facing very hard times as Caribbean countries, being plump suggested that you were well off, that you're wealthy. Now we know that being plump is definitely not associated with good health. So we need to revise and understand exactly how healthy we are based on our weight and our body mass index. So there is a healthy weight, and we all should learn what that healthy weight is for each of us so that we can strive to achieve it.
Ensure that children get a cumulative time, at least of 60 minutes per day, of moderate physical activities. There is evidence showing that there is a very close relationship between amount of screen time or television watched and overweight and obesity. So we want that parents should avoid putting a television in a child's room, that no child should be having screen time of more than 2 hours per day if they are older than 2 years old. And that does include also computer, iPads, games, etc. Families should really make an effort to include everyone and find opportunities to have outdoor playtime or involve them in sports. Regular healthy meals and snacks is really important. Increasing your intake of fruits and vegetables to 5 or more servings daily, as well as having legumes, nuts, whole grains. This means that you can incorporate these more healthy foods and eat less sugary and fatty foods. Having routine child checks or routine child visits to the clinic or your pediatrician is also important. That way they can monitor your weight, the growth and development of the child. They can also screen for other illnesses that are associated with overweight and obesity, such as type 2 diabetes. You have dyslipidemias, which includes having high cholesterol, as well as having elevated blood pressures or hypertension, and also having a fatty liver.
We have to put policies in place to make it more affordable to eat healthier, thus living longer lives free of chronic diseases and reducing the negative impacts on individuals, families, communities, and the country as a whole. Let us start at a new life, a new you.